ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. ओम ओम नारायण नारायण नारायण. So after a long time we are opening Mulavidya Nirasa. I don't know how to whether to is it audible? I have to check. Okay. Now since there was a long gap, we shall just review what we were discussing before. We just started the second section. In the second section of the book, second section of the text, in Mulavidya Prakriya, he says, according to Mulavidya Prakriya, what is Paramarthika Satyam? What is Paramarthika Satyam is impossible to define because they have not defined, they have no definition. Definition means what is Paramarthika Satyam, where is it? They are unable to show it in our Anubhava. Though they take it, Ayameva Paramarthaha iti niruccha Jagradadhyavasthanam tadvaidharmyam shaknyam parignatum. Unless you show what is the Paramarthika Satyam, the absolute reality, you cannot say waking is unlike it, therefore it is mithya. To be able to prove something as a mithya, to say that a snake is false, you can't assume that it is darkness, therefore we are seeing the snake, and the snake is in fact a false appearance of something which is rope. The ropes are found these days commonly, therefore rope must be there. So all this is only assumption. Unless you show the rope, the snake cannot be proven to be false. Unless you show the rope, snake cannot be accepted as false, because the perception of the snake continues. Perception of the snake continues. Similarly, the waking appears to be real. The reality of the waking won't go away unless you show there is an absolute reality. Absolute means unnegatable, all the time existing. Unnegatable and ever existing fact. If you show unnegatable ever existing, then in contrast with it, waking is negatable. That means we require an experience where we can stand without waking. We can stand without waking. But here, according to their prakriya, waking, the waking continues in dream. This we have discussed elaborately. So a part of waking, the waking mind alone goes into the dream. Only waking individuality, waking world is forgotten. Waking world is set aside, but the waking mind and waking individuality himself goes to the dream and projects there, carrying the waking samskaras. That means the waking world is continuing partly in dream, and the waking world is continuing in deep sleep in some unmanifest form, in some obscure form. In some form, the waking world continues in a seed form, let us say, in a seed form. So you show us, you means their prakriya is showing that waking is present in dream and deep sleep, and all the time it is there in all the 3 periods of time, in all the 3 states. So yet they say waking is mithya because there is a paramarthika satyam. Where is it? The paramarthikam which you talk of, where is it? Na paramarthasya aniruktehe, because you have not shown where is that absolute truth. If you have shown, but for us deep sleep is an experience. It is a universal experience, unnegatable experience. It is continuing in and through all other experiences. It is continuing as a truth of all other experiences. Okay. Am I correct today? I'm forgetting. It is Wednesday. So Mulavidya Nirasa is okay. So waking state dissolves. It is the deep sleep, the pure existence or the pure consciousness continues by dissolving the waking. It dissolves the waking and still it continues. So that is ever existing. The same thing is witnessing the waking, and it is witnessing the absence of waking, dissolution of the waking. So the witnesses the waking, appearance of waking, it witnesses the dissolution of waking. So the witness or sushupti is continuous, whereas the waking is dissolving. So waking is not real, and the witness is real, and it is present, ever existing in deep sleep also. So deep sleep itself is a timeless experience, therefore it is an ever existing experience. Okay, so thus they have no paramarthika satta. Since they accept deep sleep is also a state of the waking person alone, tentatively goes there, the whole waking world dissolves, shrinks into, waking world shrinks into some kind of an unmanifest state, and from there it reappears. It shrinks there and again re-expands in the waking. So that way waking world continues in all the 3 states. Waking world continues in all the 3 states. So you are only showing that the waking is absolute reality. You have not shown the real absolute reality, which sees the dissolution of waking. Samsarasya avidya. Now what they say, when we asked them that the paramarthik satta, the absolute reality, you have not shown. Therefore, just taking for granted that waking dissolves, waking goes away, waking is mithya, is only a word, doesn't prove anything. The proof should not be just by logic, but by showing your anubhava. Okay, just now we have shown how paramarthika satta witnesses the dissolution of waking. That means waking dissolves, and the witness who witnessed the appearance of waking continues. Even after dissolving waking, he continues. His existence is eternal, ever existing, and unnegatable. The existence of witness is self-existence, because it is unnegatable, nor it is a newly arriving. It is not newly born, because there is no experience where you are not witness. There is no experience where you are not witness. Witness is all the time there. It is an eternal experience underlying all other experiences of waking, dream, and so on. Okay, This is Paramarthika Satta. So as we have shown Paramarthika Satta, so Shukti itself, they have no Paramarthika Satta. Though Swamiji did not say, since he is only refuting the Purvapakshi, he is only questioning Purvapakshi. But when we question, unless we show the Siddhanta also, the Purvapakshi's mistake will not be understood clearly. Therefore, I am bringing the Siddhanti also. So that while studying Purvapaksha, you will understand Siddhanta also. Okay. Now, they are unable to show where is Paramarthika Satta. They just take it for granted that there is Paramarthika Satta, in contrast with waking is a Vyavaharik. But where is that Paramarthika? You only take it for granted. You assume it and talk of it. Okay? Next. In the next 17th, let us say, chapter, 17th passage, Samsarasya, just a second. Samsarasya avidyakatva abhyupagamena aparamarthatvam nischitya parihare parasparashraya. Now when we ask where is Paramarthika Satta, unless you show Paramarthika Satta, waking cannot be understood as mithya. They say, first they try to prove the waking world is mithya. How? Because it is born of ignorance. See this peculiar situation. You can show snake is false only on the strength of rope. Only on the strength of rope you can show that the snake is false. But they are trying to prove the snake as false because there is darkness, there is misunderstanding, there is other things. Okay, in an example, in the illustration, it may suit to certain extent, but in Atma that doesn't work. See, samsarasya anadya vidya krutatvat. They say samsara is due to beginningless Mulavidya. Swamiji wants to be very, very respectful, doesn't want to use the word directly Mulavidya. So he wants to say samsarasya anadi avidya. Anadi avidya means Mulavidya only. Okay. There is an anadi avidya, some kind of a material, some kind of substance. So anadya vidya krutatvat tasyascha vidyaya prahana sambhavat. First they say this waking world is due to anadi avidya, and once you call it avidya, they say it goes away by knowledge. See, just by you name it, therefore he becomes a bad. You call a person bad and therefore he becomes bad is proven because you called him bad. You call a person bad and do you verify the nature? In fact, this is the problem with many of people. We picked up from this Nehru probably. This has become a trend of the people talking like Nehru. While discussing anything, you don't go to the nature of a thing and then compare. Just go by the name and then just compare and say superficially everything is same. I give you an example. They don't go to the nature of God of Abrahamic religions and God of Upanishads, that is Vedanta or Hinduism. Without going into the details, the nature, first see the character of those gods, the nature of those gods, then compare and say whether they are the same God or different God. Without going into these details, just by use the word God. What is God? God means Bhagavan. Therefore, all are same. So, you just take the name, you translate the word Bhagavan as God, and then say all are same. This is a very superficial thinking, particularly in India. It is with us. In India, this is the trend. So, many things people are doing like this only. They don't go into the very character of a thing. Just go by the name of it and then say all are same. You call some dog as mad, as we say in the proverb, then how? Do you have any symptom to show that this dog is mad? Or simply calling it mad is enough, that you have proven that it is mad? Similarly, this waking world is due to Mulavidya. And it is Mulavidya, therefore it goes away by knowledge. First thing is you call this waking world is due to Mulavidya. Where is that Mulavidya? You have not shown. But since you call it avidya and take it for granted that this avidya goes away by knowledge, since you call it ignorance, it is a material in fact. Mulavidya is a material which modifies into the world. So once you say it is a material, and then you say that it will go away by knowledge. It will go away by knowledge. So vidyaya prahana sambhavat tataha eva samsarasya mithyatvam. Since it goes by knowledge, it is mithya. See how the argument goes. World is negatable by knowledge because it is produced by avidya. Since it is produced by avidya, it goes away, it can be negated by knowledge, therefore the world is mithya. So without bringing the paramarthika satta, we can prove the world as mithya. This is how they prove. They say they prove the world to be mithya without, it is something like you prove the snake to be mithya without showing the rope. When the snake is negated in the rope, then only snake becomes mithya. But without showing the rope and simply taking the snake and then say snake is mithya, and you show certain other arguments and many other things. Similarly, he says the world is due to avidya, and that avidya goes by knowledge, therefore it is mithya. Tataha eva samsara, therefore samsara is mithya. Then if it is mithya, they say, but the waking world is continuous. Nobody has seen the waking world ever being, though it is a repetition of our earlier classes, but since there was a long gap, I am just repeating because these arguments need to be contemplated, need to be reflected upon again and again. They are important points, how they are going wrong and what is the right way, right thinking. So I think it is worth repeating. Okay, I just repeat. Then only we come to the topic where we are. So samsara is mithya. Then if it is mithya, why the waking world is, but nobody has seen waking world ever disappearing. It is continuously there. Waking world is continuing in dream. Waking world is, according to them, a part of waking world continues in dream, and the waking world continues in a seed form in deep sleep. In all the three states, when the waking world is continuing to exist, then how can you say mithya? See, the one argument is, since it is born of Mulavidya, it goes away by knowledge, therefore it is mithya. This is only theoretical explanation. You have not pointed out your anubhava, what is paramarthika satta and then how it is. It is only a theoretical assumption only. Second argument, but waking seems to be continuing eternally. Nobody has seen waking ever being negated. He says, yes, it continues because until jnanam it has to continue. That's why it is a speciality of waking. Don't expect the waking to be like dream. Dream is negated every day. Every night you have a dream, and as you wake up you negate it. And you understand dream to be false. But waking is not understood to be false every day. You go to sleep and come back, or you go to dream and come back. Every day you don't understand waking to be false. Therefore, don't expect waking world to be understood false every day. No. It is a continuous perennial truth. It is a perennial, that's why we call it as an empirical reality. It is empirical reality. It is a perennial, it continues to exist. So it goes away only later with jnanam alone. That's why we call it mithya. This again is an assumption, because it is supposed to go on the dawn of knowledge in future. Keeping the future negation in view, you call it right now as mithya. This again is an assumption, because future negation goes by knowledge. When the knowledge comes, how it comes, you have to assume that it goes by knowledge. First, that it is born of ignorance and goes by knowledge, this is one assumption. But the waking world, when you ask a question, waking world, nobody sees, nobody is experiencing waking world being falsified. As we do dream, they say, yes, you are correct. They say, Mulavidya Vadins, you are correct, dream is negated, dream is falsified every day. Every morning dream is falsified, but waking is not falsified ever, because it is supposed to continue perennially, permanently, until the last day of dawn of knowledge. Only then it is negated. So don't expect it to be negated right now. Don't expect it to be dissolved right now. It won't be dissolved, it will continue. Then if it continues perennially and nobody ever sees the disappearance of waking, then how can you call it mithya? Because the first argument, that it is produced by Mulavidya, which is negatable by knowledge. So these both are only postulations, a theoretical postulations, like the Western philosophers or even some of the Indian philosophers also do. They create two theories. No fact is, anubhava is not shown. Only theories are built up and postulations are made. And on this basis, you are supposed to accept that the world is mithya. And Brahman is, which is the Brahman? Only name you know and don't know anything else except a name. Okay. Swashrayastu prapanchaha pratidinam badyate iti. Then swapnashraya. This I have already stated. Prapanchaha pratidinam badyate iti. Etavan vishesho abhyupagamyate eva asmabhihi tato na virodaha. Na samsarasya vidyakrutatva siddhav. To this, Siddhanti replies. Sachidananda Swamiji replies, samsarasya vidyakrutatva siddhav. You are only assuming that samsara is due to Mulavidya. You only have assumed that it is due to avidya. What is avidya, where and how, you have not shown. You are only assuming it, that it is due to avidya, therefore it is falsified by knowledge. So here what happens, there are two assumptions, one depends upon the other. That it is due to avidya, since it is due to avidya, it is going to be negated by knowledge. It is going to be falsified by knowledge because it is due to avidya. So one depends upon the other. Both are assumption. One assumption depends upon the another assumption. Both are assumptions. So you can't convince anybody. Iti विद्या विनाशत्व सिद्धि तत्सिद्धावेव च अविद्याकृतत्व सिद्धिरिति सिद्ध्योः परस्पर मुख निरीक्षण प्रसक्ते है. These two points, two assumption, each assumption depends upon the other. So one point you assume and depending upon the other one, and that depends upon this depends upon that. So none of them can be established. This is what Swamiji's replies. So they bring another factor to prove how the world is mithya. Okay, what is that another one? Vidvad anubhava pramanya. This topic we were discussing. Vidvad anubhava pramanyadapi navidyakatvam samsarasya. Samsara is due to ignorance on the strength of jnani's anubhava. First they told Shruti Vakya, on the strength of Shrutivakya, on the strength of certain assumption, on the strength of postulation, an argument, an assumption. Earlier they argued, now they argue on the strength of a jnani. Naisha prasaktirasti. There is no, the Purvapakshi continues to say, there is no mutual dependency. That one assumption depends upon the other. That it is due to avidya because it goes away by knowledge. It goes away by knowledge because it is due to avidya. So it's a mutual dependency. He says no. Such a undesirable situation doesn't arise because vidvad anubhava pramanyat. We have got the proof, convincing proof, undeniable proof that jnani's anubhava. Tatahi abhiyukta. Now he continues, Purvapakshi continues. Abhiyukta vidvamso mithya bhutam eva. Because they say that the world is mithya. They say world is mithya on the strength of their anubhava. They say world is mithya. Ye jivan mukta iti prakhyataha. They are called jivan muktas. We have got jivan muktas here. They have told world is mithya on the strength of their anubhava. So this is enough to prove that the world is due to ignorance and world is mithya. So why do you want Paramarthika Satta separately? Why do you want us to show Paramarthika Satta and then find fault with our Prakriya? Our Prakriya is built based upon Jnani's Anubhava, second argument. Second argument is Jnani's Anubhava. Tasmad ayuktamidam parasparashvayatva prasanjanamiti chetana Vadi parikalpita anubhava matrad vastu siddhyapyapagame sarva siddhantanam abhishta siddhi prasangat. Just by somebody's statement that Jnani said it, by somebody's statement, if you build up a prakriya, if you build up a siddhanta, if you build up a fact to be proven, if you take a fact to be proven based upon a statement of somebody, whom you call Jnanis, they say that the world is mithya. Just on somebody's statement, if you say the world is mithya, then there are many people, anybody can make a statement, and on somebody's statement, some Jnani, some yogi, or some saint, some prophet. These days prophets have come from the West, because we didn't have prophets. Now okay, some prophet, some yogi, some siddhar, somebody, on the strength of that statement, you just to take for granted. Is that possible? So the anubhava, vadi parikalpita, anubhava matrat. So they say that there is a Jnani's anubhava, but has anybody seen Jnani's anubhava? It is only a third person for us. It is only a indirect statement, a belief alone for us. Vastu siddhya abhipagame sarva siddhanta. In that case, then any siddhanta, any theory has to be accepted as a proven. Because for every theory there is somebody to say that yes, this is my experiences. There are claims, somebody claims. Just on somebody's claim, on somebody's claim you accept a fact to be proven, then anything can be proven because there are many claimants. Sarva siddhantanam abhishta siddhi prasangah. Then all siddhantas are equally proven. Okay. Nahi jivan mukta anubhavam sarve vivadino anumanyante. Second point. All people don't accept that there is a jivan muktas. Everybody doesn't accept jivan muktas. Because there are certain schools, there are certain sampradayas. As long as he is alive, he remains ignorant. After the death of the body alone, he will go to heaven. So everybody doesn't accept. So how do you know that if a given person is jnani, jivan mukta or not? Nahi jivan mukta anubhavam sarvepi vadino anumanyante. Nachedam paramartha satta swarupam abhiyukta vachanaika gamyam. Another thing is it cannot be proven just on somebody's claim. Okay. Some Siddha statement, somebody's statement alone we can't take it to be proven. Apicha Jivan Mukta, the next question comes. Okay. There are many Jivan Muktas, you don't know who is who. And one Jivan Mukta contradicts with another Jivan Mukta. One Siddha Purusha, one Jnani says the world is real, another Jnani says world, if one Jnani says world is Mithya, another says no, world is Satyam alone. Then whom to believe? If you want to believe Jivan Muktas, then Jivan Mukta to different Jivan Muktas talk differently. There is one Jivan Mukta, he says world is Mithya, world is Satyam and Brahman is also Satyam. Now, how do you say? He says that is also Satyam, this is also Satyam. Snake is also Satyam and rope is also Satyam. Okay? Nachaidam Paramartha Satta Vyukta. Api Jivan Muktaha Kasyam Avasthayam Etat Sangarante. Next point is, staying in which state do Jivan Muktas declare that the world is Mithya? To be able to declare the waking world samsara to be Mithya, where do they stay? In which state do they stay? Waking, dream or deep sleep? Which state do they stay, Jnanis? Natavat Jagrata Avasthaya. Not in one of these three states. Because Abhyupagama Virodat. You say Jnani is a one who understands the falsity of waking world, all the three states. But if he himself undergoes any one of the states, all the three states, and if he lives in one of the waking state to claim that the world is Mithya, then it is a contradiction. He lives in the waking state, he undergoes the waking state and calls the waking state as a Mithya. A person who sees the samsara, his statement, his claim of world to be Mithya is contradiction. He himself lives in the world, lives in samsara, and claims the samsara to be Mithya. So it is a contradiction. Abhyupagama Virodat. Jagradadi Sarva Samsara Dosha Vinirmukta hi Jivan Mukta Abhyupagamamte. Because we generally accept that Jivan Mukta is a one who is free from all states. But if he lives in one of the states, waking or some other state, then he is a samsari only. He is talking against his own experience. He himself has not transcended the states and says that the states are Mithya. That means he is talking against his experience. What he has not understood, he is talking. So that doesn't make sense. Abhyupagamya tatached idanim punaruchyate jagradad anyam avasthayam jivan mukta samsara dosham upadishantiti tada katham na vyagataha. Is it not contradiction to say that he lives in one of the states? Same thing which I have already stated. Tasmat jivan muktaha narahanti samsara dosham swayam drashtum prageva upadeshtum. Himself seeing the waking state, himself sees the Dvaita samsara, and then calls it is a Mithya. He can't say that. Against his Anubhava, he can't say that. Paran Jagrada Danyadam Avasthayam. Kim Channat. Next point, fifth point. I think this fifth point we were discussing. Now I understand. This fifth point we were discussing. So what I have discussed so far is a background. Already 35 minutes passed. Just to review what we discussed before. Now we have to discuss Kim Chanyat Jivan Muktanam Jagarite Tattvam Upadeshtum Ihamananam Sushuptau Anyavasthayam Vasyat Prapanchamityat Avagamaha. Okay, Jivan Muktas try to teach the world to be Mithya, Jagat to be Mithya in the Jagrada Avastha. Okay. So when they are trying to teach in the Jagrada Avastha that the Jagrat Prapancha is Mithya, Sushupta Anyavasthayam Vasapa. So when did they understand? In which state have they understood the waking world to be Mithya? Being in waking state, they can't understand waking world to be mithya. Or they must have understood whom you call jnani. Whom you call jnani. Or he must have understood the Jagrat Prapancha as a mithya in deep sleep. Or in dream state. Okay? In one of the states he has to understand. Jivan muktanam jagarite tattvam upadeshtam ihamananam sushuptau anyavasthayam vasyat prapancha mithyatva abhagamaha natavat sushuptau kohi syad vishesha, because he can't understand the waking world to be mithya in sushupti, because no understanding can ever take place in sushupti of anybody. Can any understanding take place in sushupti? Because natavat sushuptau, it is not possible to understand waking jagrat prapancha to be mithya in sushupti, because kohi syad visheshaha sushuptyoho ajna atmajnabhyam anubhuyamanayoh. Because if ajnani experiences deep sleep and jnani experiences deep sleep, what is the difference between their deep sleep? Because of this difference, jnani alone can understand the waking world to be mithya in his deep sleep, and ajnani can't understand. What is the difference? The deep sleep experience is common to all and same to all. It is common to all and the experience is same to all. Is there any difference between jnani sushupti and ajnani sushupti? Because dvaita prapancha rahitam, pratyaya rahitam is commonness. Pratyaya vishesha pratyaya rahitam, no special experience. This is what deep sleep means. Sushupti means there is no vishesha pratyaya vishesha anubhava. Nirvisheshatva nirvishesha anubhava, without any vishesha anubhava, is sushupti, and it is common to jnani ajnani, it is same. Okay. Sushuptyoho ajna atmajnabhyam anubhuyamanayoho. Ajnanina anubhuyamana sushuptihi, jnanina anubhuyamana sushuptihi. Ubhayoho ko bhedaha. What is the difference between their sushuptis? There can't be any. Yena avidvan sushupta veva vidyate karana vidya. If there was a difference, because very sushupti means nirvishesha. If there was some difference, ajnani sushupti is of one kind and jnani sushupti is of another kind, then the very nature of sushupti is debunked. Means you have dismissed the very sushupti. That means you have set aside the very sushupti and talking something else. Because it becomes in the first step itself, it becomes unacceptable. Sushupta veva vidyate karana vidya. You say there is karana vidya in ajnani sushupti, and in jnani sushupti, vidisham punaha sushuptau badhyate. Then that ajnana will be falsified in jnani sushupti, but it continues in ajnani sushupti. If you say, then there will be two types of sushuptis. Okay? It yuktir yuktyapetas syat. This is not in keeping with anubhava. And it is not in keeping with logic also. It is neither reasonable nor it is in keeping with anubhava. To this Swamiji gives one quotation, Samanam hi sarva praninam paryayena jagrat sushupti ganam sarva prani sadharana hi eva hi swapadayo anukirtyante. Sushupti is common, nirvisheshatvam is common to all and is same to all. All sushuptis, whether jnani ajnani, doesn't make any difference. Nirvisheshatvam is same. Okay? Kvachit kinchitapi ched visheshaha varari kriyata. If suppose in somebody's sushupti, some difference, some speciality, some special sushupti is admitted, his sushupti is different and special, then the very nature of the sushupti goes wrong. Tatayeva sushuptehe sushuptitvam uchchidyeta. Then it cannot be called sushupti at all. Sushupti means the very nature of sushupti is nirvisheshatvam. If you accept some vishesha, in jnani sushupti and ajnani sushupti there is vishesha, then the very nature of sushupti cannot be accepted. It goes wrong. Nirvisheshatvam eva hi sushuptehe avastantara vyavritto dharmaha iti pratiyate. It is everybody's experience. It is everybody's experience. What is common experience? Nirvisheshatvam. No speciality. All thing becomes merges into one unity. Unity is the only experience. Atha nangi kriyate vedaha sushuptyo ranayoho. If jnani ajnani, if you accept that there is no difference between jnani sushupti and ajnani sushupti, atha nangi kriyate, vedaha sushupto ranayoho tada jnani sushuptavapi driyamayasu chavidya. Then if you say jnani ajnani sushupti is same, it is just similar, it is same, then if you accept Mulavidya in ajnani sushupti, then it will come to jnani also, because sushupti is same. If there is Mulavidya in ajnani, then jnani also has. Gatam sushuptav jivan muktanam ajnanam apavadyeta. Then your claim goes false. Your claim goes wrong, gets disproven, that jnani understands the mithyatvam of the jagat in sushupti goes wrong. Because in sushupti he can't have his sushupti is not something different from common man's sushupti. So his sushupti cannot have an understanding of mithyatvam of waking in his sushupti. Iti kathaya. Tasmat etat doshadvayam parijihirshuna vaktavyam bhavati yad avastantaram eva tad ajnanam dhasyate iti. Then, when you cannot show these things, all his arguments got refuted, then he will have to say that there is another experience, totally a separate experience, jnani gets it, which nobody has. It is a special experience. Najasti, if you say there is another special experience, nobody has such a state. Nobody has a special state in which you can see that the world is understood as a mithya. So nobody has any special experience other than three. Commonly, everybody has got only three states: waking, dream, and deep sleep. There is no fourth state. Everybody has only three alone. So vurikrityapi tadrashim avastam neshtam siddhati yato laukikas sa avastha nanubhutachara. If you say there is samadhi, there is a if you say there is samadhi, in samadhi jnani understands, and nirvikalpa samadhi jnani understands the world to be mithya. If you say that is a specially achieved experience, it is not commonly present in everybody's life. It is specially acquired experience. Then if what is acquired experience becomes too personal. It is not a universal fact. Therefore, tasman nashaknuvanti etan avidyavataha pratipodayitum jnaninaha. Therefore, he cannot teach, because what is not in everybody's experience, he can't teach. If it is his own special private experience, personal private experience, he cannot teach the same to others because it doesn't exist in everybody. And even if you acquire a nirvikalpa samadhi, then his nirvikalpa samadhi is different and yours is different. Each one will have his own private personal experiences. Okay? Each one will have a private personal experience. No communication is possible. 18th point we have completed. I think the 19th point we will discuss in the next class. Already 44 minutes passed. Okay? Anyway, we have started after a long time. We shall continue. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat.